Hello everybody, this is Zad Drums here, so I figured might as well talk about what my drum set actually is, explain what the kit is, what I use, and yada yada. It's just your basic introduction video, so without further ado, let's get this show on the road. So right now, currently using a 5-piece pulse set, used, but you can take any used kit and make it sound the way you want just by exchanging heads and stuff, and basically upgrade each component as needed. Mostly everything on this is used, except for, say, of course, the drum heads and the hardware. So there's that to go with it. So let's start with the kick drum. It is a 22, and I'm using the Evans EMAD Resonant head, which of course has that wonderful cutout, allow more sound to come through, more punch. Now I do have a pillow inside, which that's just to help dampen the noise, because without it it's a very nice big thick kick. But in the room I'm kind of in, not necessarily something that you're going to want to hear constantly. So there is that. Moving on to the toms, well, actually, before that, back to the kick. Also have an Evans hydraulic batter head, which is very wonderful. It's 2-ply and has that thin layer of oil between that. Really good kick. Let's go to the bass pedal. I use a Ludwig, and it basically came as a kit with the Ludwig hardware that I use. So there's that. So now let's get on and go on with the toms here. So with the pulse set that I got, most traditional drum sets I've seen are a 10 and 12. Well, I have a 12 and 13. So very different. So when I was able to get the pack for my Evans, unfortunately, it came with, say, the 14, the 10, the 12, and the 16. Well, that's a 13, so there's that. So I don't really like to upgrade heads. I'm going to eventually upgrade that, so let's try and fit back in here and kind of answer some questions. So right here is my 12 with the Evans hydraulic. On the opposite side where the resonant head is the pulse frickin' batter resonant kind of head that's on there. I tend to actually have my resonant heads tuned a bit higher to help with sound. On the 13, again, used kit. It's the pulse head. I will actually go after the Evans hydraulic, which again is that 2-ply with the layer of oil in between to help with that sound. But yeah, we go to the 16, which I love the deep sound I can get out of it. The 16, just again, Evans hydraulic, wonderful sound. Still using this crappy pulse kind of like reso head type thing. I'm going to actually rework my snare, which of course leave it to my camera to want to freak out on me. That's fine though. So it's an Evans G1 frickin' snare head. It's okay. I'm eventually wanting to go to the Genera Dry HD, which has the frickin' vented holes and the control ring and all that. Because this is a steel drum, whereas of course most drums like this are wood and all, but there's that. It has the pulse snare side with a 20 strand snare wires, which I would love to upgrade to a, I think it's an Evans Hazy 300 snare side with a Tama 42 strand snare wire bed, so I can get that thicker sound, which is what I really want. Going on to hardware, as I said, all of it except for one of my cymbal stands is Ludwig, so Ludwig Hi-hat, which really good. I'm using the Ludwig straight stand over here for my ride, which I'm able to get my ride to the angle that I personally like to use. Then I have the Ludwig straight boom stand. So what's nice about this is I can make it a boom stand, which is what I've done for my crash, or I could make it a straight and kind of have it like what this one is. So I have another straight stand, but Ludwig didn't come with a secondary straight. That's fine. Still double braced, but it is a PDP 700 series straight stand. PDP is okay if you're on a budget, though I would recommend going for like Tama, Ludwig, which I'm really in love with the Ludwig stands. Just the quality shows on how it's made. Like the Ludwig stands you see have the thicker double braced legs as opposed to these scrawnier, thinner bits of metal. But then you come to like the big frickin' straight stand that Ludwig came with, which is just like, holy crap, it's so much better. So there's that. I am sitting on a PDP 700 series throne. Comfortable, does the trick, does exactly what you need. Last but not least, cymbals, which to me is important. I am a huge Zildjian fan. I've basically watched so many videos trying to go over so many things, trying to find that right cymbal sound. Used to be I would either do the paste or the Meinl, but I've always loved Zildjian. Zildjian to me has always been quality. So I'm using the ZBT series, which is like the introductory into the Zildjian family, which that's fine. I mean, not your most expensive kit, but this will do the trick. I'm using the Zildjian ZBT 13 Hi-hat, which cymbals are all used. The only things that are new is the hardware and the drum heads, and that's about it. So, really good hi-hat. Would like to actually go to a 14 instead, but the 13 works for what I need it to. Talk about my main crash. I actually enjoy this. It is kind of, I want to say, part of the ZBT family. It's a ZHT fast crash, and it's a 15, so it's got that really great just resonance that's real easy to cut. Normally I would have gone with the 16, but the 15 works just fine. Going to my secondary crash, kind of controversial for me, but it's a ZBT 18-inch crash ride. Now, when I had put the order in, it was for a crash, not a crash ride. And that was from Guitar Center, no ill will to them. When it had arrived, I didn't notice it was a crash ride, and so I looked at the tag had said crash. So they had mislabeled it, but it's a crash ride. But great tone, still works great as a crash, and what's nice is, since it's a crash ride, I have that extra bell to a sense, so, and it's a bit of a different tone as opposed to an actual true ride like my ZBT 20-inch Zildjian ride right here, which is amazing. I have it set up like this. Reason why my ride's kind of set up at that wacky angle to some is huge fan of Jay Weinberg of frickin' Slipknot, and sometimes on his kit I've seen him actually set his ride at this angle, and it's a natural feeling because most of the time I'll be playing on the frickin' right side of my ride, and then I can just hit the bell right off of that, which it's nice, it works, does everything I need it to, and yeah, that's pretty much my frickin' kit. Just don't mind the Ibanez bass guitar right there, but yeah, good drum set. Hoping to do some cover videos down the road and just have fun. In case you're curious about sticks, those are on stage. They're a bit light for me. I need a heavier stick. But yeah, eventually I just want to upgrade some of the heads. And basically, big things out of the way. Boom, got the kit. Now it's just upgrading the small, minor pieces into the bigger, badder, scarier kit. So this has been Zad Drums, and this is my drum set. If there's any questions, just let me know. I'll try and answer them as best as I can. So, till then, I'll catch you all later.